We're all owned by the Syndicate, body and soul. Or should I just say body?
Hello, filthy movie lovers, something weirdos, and anti-criterion bros, to the 24th episode of the Sin Syndicate, the only podcast with its own karate consultant and a personal invitation into the Vortex of Voluptuousness. My name is Gentry Austin, writer and researcher, and I'm here with my co-host, adult film historian Casey Scott. This week we are joined again by friend of the pod and paperback freak, Alex DiSanto. He's going to help us get back into the swing of things after a 2-week break. And what better way to return than to cover 2 black and white dirty pictures that blur the line between sex film and art film. Today, we're going to be talking about director Joel Landwehr's orgiastic hatchet slasher In Hot Blood and its avant-garde follow-up Fluctuations.
Violence is her pastime. Pain is what they long for. Pleasure is what they receive. And it's all in hot blood. A motion picture that goes beyond anything you've ever seen in sex, degradation, and violence. In Hot Blood is a motion picture that is different. It is the story of the immoral life and a dangerous game. A story that is as raw and ugly as murder.
But first, let's check in with the Sexploitation News Desk. We've got a few updates and corrections this week. I think we'll start with the HGL Kickstarter, which was funded. With a couple days left to go, it looked like. I don't think that they reached their stretch goal to get the 35 millimeter prints struck, but they did reach the goal to start work on restoring a whole bunch of Herschel Gordon Lewis films. Any thoughts, guys? I know we've kind of went over this a bit before.
I mean, it's great. It's very exciting. I think it's probably better news for horror fans than it is for sexploitation fans, if I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm. The UHDs of the Blood trilogy is the big one.
I mean, that's going to be great. Yeah. I think my concern is, though, the restorations of the sexploitation, because we just saw them announce another Blu-ray from SVHS transfers, and I'll repeat again, SVHS transfers do not belong on Blu-ray. So if we're going to have SVHS of the sexploitation, I'm not interested. So yeah, I'm hoping that this means we're going to get transfers from film of all of this stuff. Please, please.
I think we are, yeah. But what it's going to look like is still a question, so we'll see what's available. Yeah. Alex, any thoughts?
No, I'm burned out from this discussion. I'm just really happy that finally this is actually happening, because 2000 Maniacs is camera negative surface, and that's one of my favorite HGLs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was missing for the Arrow release, and I've just been like fingers crossed, because the Something Weird restoration was done back when Blu-rays were always like soft and trying to scrub out grain and things like that. So that one's in need of a big overhaul. Yeah, again, we'll wait to see about elements and things like that. And oddly enough, everyone's going to be like, what the hell are you thinking of? The second one I'm the most excited for probably is actually not even the HGL film. It's Stick It in Your Ear.
Yeah,
which is fascinating, which is such a fascinating movie. But yeah, just nice. I want to hear more about the elements and things like that. Like, just, I don't know how to react yet. Great. I just don't know what to think.
Yeah.
I know. Well, because I was going back over my Something Weird supplement that has the supplements. A lot of the supplements, sometimes they didn't have new stuff. It was just them reminding people they had these catalogs or collections. So there's like an H.G. Lewis supplement, a Twisted Sex supplement, a Nudie Cutie supplement. So I was looking for the Herschel Gordon Lewis one, and it lists all of the sources that they use on this stuff. And so they had negatives to a lot of the stuff. So my question is, are those negatives still there, or are we going to have to deal with 35 millimeter prints which is less than ideal. Like, are the negatives that Something Weird had access to still available to do these restorations? And that is a big concern of mine. Because if they're not, then I'm going to have to hold on to these DVDRs, I guess. Yeah,
And
it's a
I
little
hate to
concerning
say
for
it,
me.
who knows? Because some of those HGL films that were saved for Arrow were not sourced from whatever original elements Something Weird had. So yeah, it's a big question mark, like Gruesome Twosome and things like that. What?
Yeah.
Where'd you go, Neg?
I know. I still have my Something Weird snap case of that because I'm holding on to that because it's a little bit more complete than the Blu-ray because there's missing stuff on that Blu-ray because of print jumps and stuff. So yeah,
maybe both are restored and also maybe include the video version.
That would be great
if it's nicer. Kind of like with Dracula, the Old Man, the alternate cut and things like that. Like just give us a glimpse.
And Teaserama they did that with too. Yep.
Exactly.
No, I think that's a great idea. Yes, and Bat Pussy they did that too because they found a longer version, but the longer version was still missing footage from the last transfer. So there's two versions of that. Yeah. So I think as long as they're being completist and as long as they don't do what they did with the Doris Wishmans, where they just ignored the fact that two of those movies were cut and didn't include them as extras, I think we'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Lawrence Milton Boren, we got some updates. Casey, what did we find out about the man from 4D Witch? Yeah.
So two people reached out to us. One wants to remain nameless. The other is Sean Langrick, who's great. And he is the guy who's in charge of Jane Sentis as well. I asked him, I didn't mention him in the Orgy Castle episode. And he said, yeah, fine, you can say I'm in touch with her. It's like, okay, good.
Okay.
So we found out that our boy Boren has a criminal past, which I won't go into too much detail on. I will describe it as domestic abuse, and it's very troubling. It's a very troubling article that was sent to us by both researchers. And it makes me wonder if that experience led him to seek sort of a self-counseling with this alternative thinking of like the use of sound and light and things to kind of improve his mind. The article also did mention that he served time at a prison camp for his not adhering to his draft notice. So he didn't just pay a fine. He worked on a prison farm for I think a year because he didn't go to combat for World War II.
Yeah.
And then also the musical From Venus with Love apparently happened. It actually was mounted. We were talking about, I wonder if that book was even done because we only knew there were songs that were done. Apparently the book was also done. And the book was finished by Boren and David Reed, who we think is the David Reed that was involved with Ratfink, the James Landis movie, which is amazing, and Tales of a Salesman. So the Tales of a Salesman connection makes sense to connect Boren to sexploitation, I think. And so that was kind of where we left with Boren. I think it's crazy that it was shown. There was a newspaper thing that said From Venus with Love, the first outer space musical comedy. It was at the Lions Clubhouse on Echo Park Avenue, which that building is now for sale for $1 million if you want to buy it. But also it said amazing story, costumes, 14 song hits. That's a lot. In spectacular Rainbow-rama, which of course he had the rainbow, his magic light thing that he was selling, but also Rainbow Records, which was the record company that put out the Psyched by the 4D Witch theme song.
Yeah, I imagine he had a bunch of those rainbow devices just like spread out all over the theater.
Sure. But then they were left over. Maybe that's why he was trying to sell them in that journal from 1960, because this was in 1959. So he had these things left in 1960. Like, well, I guess I'll try to sell these and tell people that this is, for their health. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I think he might have just been a real huckster. But fascinating guy still.
If only there's a patent for that damn light.
Yeah.
That exists. Can you imagine?
I'm surprised. I would love to research that, actually. I never did research that. Maybe it's possible.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Yep, and kind of a connection back to 4D Witch as well is a film called Dingle Dangle, which was sent to us from our friend John Charles.
Yes, John, who I just realized I did the math in my head. I have known him for more than 25 years. Because I've known him since the Mobius Home Video Forum days, which that's, anyone listening, that is old school. That's late 90s, early 2000s, like the original forums for like movie people to geek out together. And I've known him that long. And And he sent us this copy of Dingle Dangle, which came out on TVX on VHS, and I don't think has ever been reissued. You watched it. I watched it today. You watched it before me. Let's hear your thoughts first, because I want to know what you thought of it.
Dingle Dangle. Well, yeah, because originally, if you look at dates for it, I think the original dates floating around the internet are like early 60s. What was it? I'm looking it up again.
They say 66.
And I immediately was like,
wrong.
there's no way. This is, it's a soft core, but pretty hard sexploitation comedy with, the music
comedy
is...
in quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it. I mean, it's a very early 70s sexploitation movie with just a bunch of nothing, very loose plot. Of course, the songs are kind of the big draw because you actually get to see who we believe is Joe Bisco / Mr. Johnny By The Way.
And that's my big correction.
Yeah.
There's not a... Well, it's so funny because I went to... Shout out to Discogs because, if you're a music person, Discogs is your place. So apparently, around the time that we put out our Psyched by the 4D Witch episode, a conversation happened on the Discogs forum discussing Joe Bisco and his various pseudonyms, but also discussing how there's one Johnny By The Way and there's another Johnny By The Way. And I feel like maybe my error inspired that conversation, which I know, if that's the case, I love being wrong if it leads to corrections out there. But and looking at pictures of Joe Bisco, it's very clear that he is the guy in this movie with a very ugly, oily wig playing Johnny By The Way. And that means that he sang the 4D Witch song, just wrote it as Joe Bisco and then sang it as Johnny By The Way.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. When I was watching, I sent you that photo of the guy singing in Dingle Dangle and the Mormon podcaster, and I was like, I don't know. Right. One of them's kind of a skinnier guy, the other's a little heavier. Right. Yeah, we thought we saw some similarities, but I don't think they are the same person.
No. Well, I think until we saw Dingle Dangle, it wasn't clear because the Joe Bisco, I don't even think that Joe Bisco picture was up when I was checking Discogs. So I don't even know what Joe Bisco looked like. So it was kind of tough to put those together. The music is the best part of that, but also Bambi Allen is great in it. Yeah. Imported from LA, billed as Barbara Allison. So I think this was a sexploitation entry for Joe Bisco through James E. Myers. So James E. Myers, this was done around 1971, I think, and shot in San Francisco. James E. Myers had co-written Rock Around the Clock and written all these other rock songs as Jimmy DeKnight, and that's the name he used on a lot of his sexploitation that he acted in and also directed some hardcore porno. But by the time this came around, he had been like the title character in Fabulous Bastard from Chicago. He'd done all this other stuff. So I think Joe Bisco is the executive producer of this movie, so he financed it. So Myers must have just been like, listen, sexploitation movies are where it's at. The money, there's good money in them. And he's the assistant director on this too. So I think that's why it looks better than all the other Bobby Davis stuff, because Bobby Davis wrote and directed it. His stuff is usually so low rent and gross, and this looks much better than My Sister's Business, which is really rough. So this is a huge step up for him.
It's still mostly set in like 1 or 2 rooms of a house.
Basically, you'd think it was shot in Los Angeles because other San Francisco films would take advantage of those locations and have a lot more outdoor footage. This doesn't. It looks like it's shot in a bunch of hotel rooms. Yeah, it's just not. Yeah. Elizabeth Knowles is in it in a very bad wig. And she had done. People would know her from like Trader Horny and The Masterpiece. And just the two of us, and she has a very bad American accent in this. Claire Dia and her real-life boyfriend, Lee Parsons, are boyfriend and girlfriend in this.
I didn't recognize a lot of people in this, but thankfully you did.
I definitely did.
Yeah,
I definitely did. So that was good. Yeah, Bambi Allen was like immediate. I was like, oh my God, Bambi Allen's in this. This is great.
Other than her, yeah.
So, yeah, she's great. And her implants have settled. So she looks good.
Don't get us on this again.
I know, harkening back to our conversation, but she's good in this. I think she and the songs are the best thing about this. I think she's just, endlessly charming as usual and really has she elevates the production. And then she disappears way too quick.
Yeah. I think what stands out to me is the inclusion of some black actors in this, and they're getting in on the action, and it's not, done in like a stereotypical way. They're just part of the film, they're just bodies in the film, and they do some. There's some interesting sex swing action, but it's a.
Oh, yeah, that's the only good scene. Yeah. Okay.
Alex, love.
I only love that scene. That's about it. For anyone who's curious about what Dingle Dangle is, out of just like, it's all it entails, folks out there, because it's not the easiest to find. It's literally just the day in the life of suburbanites who are bored.
Yeah.
That's it, folks.
The Milkman.
It's like a Don Davis. It's like a Don Davis movie, basically.
It's exactly Don Davis,
more diverse, and in San Francisco instead of Los Angeles. Yeah,
and trying to be funny.
I'm trying to describe it as like being in the suburbs, and it's like, okay, the suburbs. Like it opens with them with Bambi Allen taking a cab in San Francisco. This is not the suburbs. And then the guy is she's a secretary, and so is Bunny Brody, who was in Green Door and Resurrection of Eve.
Yeah. And
Ed Sander, who was in Welcome Home, Brother Charles, which was a big surprise to me. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't think he did anything else. He is a talent agent who's married to Elizabeth Knowles. Claire Diaz, the daughter. George McDonald from Green Door is the milkman. And it's just people randomly having sex. It's very similar to like early hardcore, but it is also very San Francisco, and then it feels more. It has a lot of like long-haired hippie chicks, very San Francisco, not like LA at all. It's not the LA girls that are trying to be models and movie stars. It's San Francisco girls who are like, yes, I'll take my clothes off in front of the camera and have sex. I'm doing it anyway. So it has that San Francisco look, and also San Francisco was much more about interracial sex and equality in front of the screen and things like that. It's much more diverse in San Francisco.
Well, yeah, like so you said, feel San Francisco in this connection,
which was the year after this. So I think it is. I think 71 is probably the right.
That would have to be, because Clemiel's first release / no, they didn't produce this, was Double Infidelity, which is 1970.
Ah, okay.
It cannot be earlier than 1970.
Right.
Yeah, because they distributed this one as well.
Clemiel. Okay. That's right. And then they reissued Psyched by the 4D Witch. And Blood Freak. Yeah, that's right. I'm remembering the episode now.
Yeah. They had a few original productions, but apparently they mostly picked up other people's already released pictures. That was what you said, I think? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They had a few original productions or things like that. Mm-hmm. Frank Harr is the guy who ran it.
I'm glad John sent it to us so we could, check it off, but I would not recommend any kind of struggle to see it. I think if you come across it, great. I'm glad that I was able to see Bambi Allen once again do her thing and be great. And it's a nice reminder of how much we lost when she died unexpectedly. And she's not in it enough. And Claire Diaz so much better in other stuff. Like, this is very early Claire Diaz. Like, she got so good when she's in like 3 a.m. and Desires with Young Girls and Hardcore. And even What About Jane the year after? She's terrific in that. So it's fluff.
Yeah,
it's 50 minutes of near hardcore grinding, folks. That's it. That is all it is.
It feels longer than an hour. Yeah, it's one of those where it drags.
I'm always curious with these films though to see like how far they push it for softcore. And this one, there's like simulated double penetration even. So it's like, wow, they're seeing how far they can go here.
Yeah, they're
in San Francisco,
close.
So I don't know why they didn't go further. It would be a while till James E. Myers actually did hardcore, because he directed Rendezvous in Hell, I think was his, and then I think he did Swinging Genie.
The campaign even claims that's XXX, but alas, awful.
Well, that's funny, because you know who also calls softcore XXX is Rotzler in the contemporary erotic cinema thing. He calls XXX is not hardcore; it just means it's the most graphic, not necessarily actual penetration. XXX for hardcore didn't really happen until later. Yeah,
you're right.
3X just means it's the hottest thing on the planet, when it absolutely isn't. It was just a marketing technique at that point, not an actual rating. Yeah.
Yep. I think that's...
Did you watch it, Alex?
I watched it this morning. I skimmed it this morning.
Yikes.
I skimmed through it. That's
I gave it my full attention because I knew that I was gonna get rid of it after I finished, and I had to review it for Letterboxd. So I was like, okay, I'm making note of everything, and goodbye.
No, I've always been curious just because I have this really like a whack job hack of a press book that doesn't have ad mats, but like that's just it.
Yeah, I'm
And
surprised
it's
you even
black and
have
white
that.
photos with purple against a purple background.
Yeah, there's absolutely.
Why wouldn't you use color photos?
No ads, some great little. I'm Johnny, by the way. I'm so and so.
Yikes! The music is good, and unfortunately, I can't find any evidence it was ever released anywhere.
Imagine this got like a little promotional something or another.
Yeah, I would love it. It's just not on Discogs.
Well, you might have to scan that for us, Alex, because maybe does that cover have any nudity on it?
No, actually, no. It goes.
I would like to update like the IMDb.
Covered.
It's got a little blob, so I
that's
could.
At least
closest
there's Elizabeth
to,
Knowles with her horrible wig in the top right.
This is the one sheet, but the one sheet had a lot more white to it. This is a little bit more narrow, but I think this is what the one sheet looked like.
Yeah,
just a bunch of floating heads.
Because you can't even find that image online anywhere.
What year is this? What year is this? That is not 1971 graphic design. That's really
it's nothing. Yeah.
I mean, Daisy Chain did that, and that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years before this. I mean, that's like, So I don't know. I guess it just shows the
I know it's funny because Clemiel's earlier campaign riffed off like the My Tam look instead. Like it's a lot cleaner.
Yeah,
and things like that. I don't know what happened. Don't know who Frank Carr hired to do the Diggle Daggle campaign because he was doing fine with Bartko's like stock sexploitation design. Hey, I like to think is maybe just Bobby Davis going, you know what, I can do this.
Maybe. It looks like My Sister's Business. I have that press book.
Yeah, it looks like Bobby Davis decided to.
It does. It looks like Bobby's like, I can do this. I did it before, which is crazy. Yes. So, that's probably what happened because My Sister's Business is one of the worst press books ever.
You have some info with that? Wow. Okay. Because the one sheet's already bad enough, too.
Oh, the press book is terrible. And it doesn't even try to hide the leading lady's mustache at all. Pictures of her with a mustache. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you saw that image, Alex, that I tried to get uploaded of the rear end. What was that from for Dingle Dangle? Did you see that image?
No.
I think
it was
actually
the
John's
video cover.
Yeah, it's the that's what it was. What? Yeah.
Yeah. This thing
I was wondering where
looked good. This thing has never been well represented. Yeah. No. It's just they just like they probably flipped open a magazine, tore it out.
But that's why you should scan that because then you can upload that to TMDB and then Letterboxd can then upload that image.
Exactly. Because they will not put the image
I don't need this. That VHS cover is terrible. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that.
I'm trying to think, did anyone actually rent that? Did any little old man see that in the video store?
Probably somebody who wanted like Butt Cake magazine or something from Golden Child. Yeah, probably.
Who then got this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's marketed like it looks like more of a gay film than a straight-ish film. Yeah.
I know. I wonder if there's any images on the back of the box, like what kind of stills are on the back too, to try and promote this. Is there anything or not?
It looks like a cover for like Fun Buns Contest, which is a very cheap gay porn that Something Weird put out and a bunch of other people because it's like dirt cheap. But yeah, it looks like Fun Buns Contest to me.
Yeah. Well, enough bashing on Dingle Dangle.
I know. No more Dingle Dangle. Fuck you, Dingle Dangle. Fuck you, Bobby Davis.
Talk about Joel Landwehr, the man.
Aww.
He's got 2 surviving films that we can talk about. So maybe we start with...
But only 2 we can talk about.
Yes, but only 2 we can talk about. Let's just talk about the man. Let's start there. Casey, what do you think? Is that a good place?
Well, I have not been able to sleep for the past several days because I've been so bothered by this guy. But not even in like a funny way. Because so I found out about 2011, I think. I was researching it, and I found that he had died in 1981 because I found it in Social Security Death Index that he died in April 1981. And it wasn't until recently that I found that there was a death notice in the New York Times that said that he was brutally murdered I will read that piece. Where did that piece go? There it is. So, the family of the late Joel Landwehr, this is from the May 3rd, 1981 New York Times death notice. So, the family of the late Joel Landwehr, adored son of Anne and dear brother of Sheldon, brutally murdered at age 39, thank his friends for their profound expressions of sympathy. He was quiet, gentle, considerate, did his best and left the world a better place than he found it. We shall miss him more than we can say, Sheldon Landwehr. So, haunting, because I can find nothing more about this murder. I don't know why it happened. I don't know where it happened or how it happened. I don't know if anyone was arrested or convicted. I don't know if justice was served. I don't know anything about it. So I reached out to the New York Records Department, and I have an appointment with them to see them on Thursday next week to look through the homicide logs of the NYPD in 1981. To see if it was documented. But they have advised if he was not murdered in Manhattan, I have to go to all the other boroughs' records offices to look at their homicide logs for 1981. So I am prepared to go the distance for this because I want to know what happened. Like I'm very haunted by this, but I'm also bothered by it because Sheldon died in 2011. He was a very successful film and food critic. So you can find reviews of him all over the place. New York Post, different magazines. He had like a radio show in the 60s and 70s. So he died, and he was gay, and he left behind a partner that auctioned off his belongings at an auction house in Florida. But nowhere does he mention that he was predeceased by a brother. And then when his mother died in 1999, that obituary does not mention that she was predeceased by a brother. So the last evidence that Joel Landwehr even existed is this death notice. And that really bothers me because how brutal was this murder and what were the circumstances? You'd mentioned a possibility of maybe something involving, something criminal, potentially, which is always a possibility. My thought was that it was a case of like an Amaro Brothers situation where we had two gay brothers and one was killed in like a cruising situation thing. My mind goes to that just because if there's no record of it, there's a reason for it. Like the fact that I couldn't find anything else. Maybe this murder was reported on, but he wasn't named because of the nature of the murder. So yeah, I haven't really been able to sleep because of this because it's really bothering me. And the irony is, it's over these two pieces of shit that I'm obsessed with finding out what happened to this guy. Because
wait, no, you like In Hot Blood?
I was just about to have to needle you for a second.
I do love In Hot Blood, but it's not a good movie. Yeah. But I'm dying to know. And I found a lot of other very interesting information. He made a film called A Puritan's Dream, which was a short film that was distributed in 67, 68. All over, actually. I mean, it toured. It showed up on all sorts of different underground film screenings nationwide, and then toured with like a package of other films. And I don't know who the distributor was because I can't find that information either. A 16 millimeter print is at the Filmmakers Co-op here in New York, and it has screened as recently as 2001. Because I found evidence that it screened as part of a film program. He used the name Leo J. Rhewdnal on that as well. Yeah. So I've emailed the Filmmakers Co-op to ask them, how can I screen this? I don't have a 16mm projector. Can I screen it there? And I have to hear back. So I've emailed so many people. I emailed the auction house where the auction was because that's the crazy thing. Sheldon's obituary doesn't mention his late brother. When I looked at the auction page in 2011 or 2012, there was a lot of stuff that was the script for In Hot Blood, the script for Fluctuations, photos, press books for this stuff. And then I think it was either the negative or a print of a third movie, which might have been Puritan's Dream, or it might have been a third movie that we don't know about. That stuff is wiped from the internet because it was over a decade ago. So they don't hold that online for you to look at the auction. So I emailed them and I wanted to know the details of that auction. But it's interesting that he held on to his brother's stuff for that long and took it with him when he moved to Florida from New York. Like, was that all that was left of his brother? Was the film stuff? And so he held on to it? Like, it's really crazy to think about. And I think it's a great example of how, like, even the most ridiculous, crazy movies in this genre have really interesting stories behind them related to the people who made them.
Right.
And it just makes me all think about films that we don't know who made them. So who knows what that story is? I mean, but the search continues for the Joel Facts. I'm waiting to hear back from an actress that he did social things with in New York, who was like the daughter of a British diplomat, and I'm waiting to hear back from the partner of the late brother. Like I've put out my feelers for everybody, and I'm hoping that like over the next week I'll have people trickling back in to let me know what they know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been obsessed for the past like 4 or 5 days. And it drives me nuts because I want answers now, but I have to wait patiently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the partner of the brother, I feel like there's no reason not to talk if he has something to say at this point.
Right.
They're both gone.
The way I put it was, I asked him, did Sheldon ever talk about Joel? Like, do you know? I didn't ask about how he was murdered. I asked about, well, I'm trying to also find what happened between. I described it as I was looking for information on a film director. And I know his last film was in 1970, and then I found out that he was murdered in 1981. So I'd like to know what his life was like between that time. And did Joel ever talk about him? Because, and I referenced the notice in the New York Times, where obviously it was something that the family was very hurt by.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's definitely something you have to tread lightly with. It's kind of like reaching out to like family members of deceased filmmakers and actors and actresses. It's kind of like, listen, I'm not trying to like muckrake or trying to like, I'm just trying to I'm just trying to learn about who this person was. And it would be super helpful if one of the last people who knows. He had no other siblings, no other family, no extended family, and had no other family. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. And that's where I'm at with Joel. It was way easier researching Stan Borden, I'll tell you that. So,
Well, so A Puritan's Dream, who released?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, did it get distributed
There's no
by
plot description?
Anyone we know of, or was it just
not a clue?
Yeah,
not a clue. There's no distributor listed on any of the stuff I could find about Puritan's Dream. It's kind of like, I think it's similar to like Vapors, the Milligan movie, where it's like if you see ads for that, you're not necessarily in the paper. It's a short film. You're not necessarily going to see who the distributor is. It'll say like Underground Sensation, Puritan's Dream, and that's it. Like if it's an underground film, I think they also want to keep that air of mystery about it. Like, well, who made this? And that's why he had his fake name on it, Leo Rhewdnal.
He used that on all these films, didn't he?
Yes, and I found so many weird references in the papers. He went to like social gatherings, and he went to Warhol parties and met with Ultraviolet. And there's a news piece where they told each other what their real names were. Yeah. So I think you'd ask, like, how do we know Leo J. Rhewdnal is Joel Landwehr?
Besides the reverse,
it's a matter of record in the New York Times, and also is mentioned in the AFI catalog.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. It's that I found more under the fake name in my research than I did under his real name, because I think he was trying to establish Leo G. Rhewdnal as some kind of underground person to pay attention to.
Well, the fact that you mentioned him going to Warhol parties, I think is like a key part of understanding Joel, in that these films are best looked at as kind of underground art films in a way. And I know I said in my intro, like sometimes the line is. Yeah, one of them more than the other, but
maybe one of them. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
The line between art and sex films, I think, is pretty thin.
Yes, it's blurry
Joel.
With certain filmmakers. That's true.
I mean, yeah, Milligan's Vapors is a good example. And he played around in Warhol's. Well, he hated Warhol, but he still played around in those circles as well, right, Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he served Warhol a summons, so yes, they've interacted.
Yes.
Sandy takes out the methadrine. The girls call her Speedy. Rita gets the water, and Roberta obligingly gives Sandy the shot.
But, well, maybe that's a good segue to the Stan Borden, who kind of helped get these in theaters. Alex, I think you could probably tell us more about Stan Borden.
Not his early years. Casey, you want to start in his early years with him in his music industry?
Yeah, so I did dig into that because I was like, where the hell did Stan Borden come from? Brooklyn boy. Fought, like many of our sexploitation people fought in World War II. Actually was able to confirm he was awarded 3 air medals for meritorious achievement in the sustained bomber combat operations over Germany and German-occupied countries. So he was in the Air Force. And he's...
Did he meet Barry Mahon? Maybe he flew with Barry.
Know.
Can you imagine?
It's possible. I mean, maybe. It's possible. I don't know. It's interesting. They never really crossed paths. Or maybe they did and he just didn't want to work with them. But yeah, he once he got back from the war, I'm not sure how he got involved with RKO Unique Records, but that's kind of the beginning of... That's the earliest I can find of him being involved with entertainment.
There's a hazy rumor that he was a jukebox jobber earlier on. He had a bit of a disadvantage upbringing. According to Vernon Becker, he had been a young kind of hood in the late 30s to support his family. He worked as a strong arm man. And then somehow ended up becoming a jukebox jobber for a hot minute there, buying jukeboxes and like reselling them and things like that. But like you said, how he got any farther into music, that's the big mystery right there, is how he went from this small-time local thing into that.
Yeah, I'm not able to trace that. But then it's also strange. It's tough to trace how he got from music after RKO Unique Records went out of... Well, he was fired, but then they went out of business. But then he got into the film business through Dick Randall, I think. Yeah. Because Dick Randall was a music guy before he got into film. So I think one of the first movies he did was... He was executive producer on a movie called News of All Nations, which was then released under several different titles. But and that was not distributed by him. It was distributed by another company called Union Film Distributors. But that's the first evidence I could find of him working on any movie. And that was 1962.
And then around that time, he acquired the British nudie Sunswept, and that supposedly did really well for him. So he continued. I think at first he was getting to kind of more so releasing like art films, and foreign product and things like that. And he did through American, like one or two little things for the most part. But Sunswept did really, really well for him. So it seems like that is what led him to continue going down exploitation instead of anything else.
Pickup, or did he add?
Yeah, Subsweat. It's lost. As far as I know, it's lost. So I haven't found a copy of it.
I don't think they're added footage. I think because like a lot of those British nudies were imported. I don't think they had to add anything. It was just nudity.
Nudity in them. I've never heard of a British nudie, ever having out of anything like anyone's ever released. I don't think.
Right. It's not like a love hunger situation or like violated. It's not like a South American pickup where they had to add stuff because they weren't.
No, exactly. Because there was stuff going on over there. Like Harrison Marks was doing all sorts of things and stuff like that. There were a few like little nudie things going on, just not as big as what was going on in the U.S. So that was the birth of American film distributing, pretty much. And then he became a powerhouse in. I don't want to say like the high tier sexploitation world, kind of like the mid/lower tier stuff that we all kind of have a soft spot for, like the $5,000 to $10,000 productions, type of films. He wasn't like a Canvas or an Audubon that had less titles, but they played for a lot longer in one or two theaters. He was one of the like 1 to 2 weekers who always had a strong succession of product. And he was apparently a pretty fair guy to work with. Like, again, he came from music, which was even more crooked than film. Right. So from all I've heard, he was a pretty good guy to get along with. Everyone who was around him at the time kept on hinting that he had some mob ties to the Jewish mob. And his business, for the most part, was a really smart one, especially if you want to survive as an exploitation filmmaker. He bought films outright, normally, no percentage or anything like that, for $10,000 to $15,000 in 3 payments. And unlike most people, you actually got paid, which again is a pretty good living for making these types of movies. Like Mike Finley made his living off of Stan.
Yeah, I was gonna say to make money, if he's gonna sell it outright to Stan, you know, he has to make it for like 5 or 10 to make $5,000 off of it if he sells it for 15, right?
Yeah, exactly. For about that much. And if you weren't going into like distributing yourself or something like that, honestly, that was probably the smarter thing to do instead of trying to get percentage or something like that. And that's normally when you got stiffed or something like that. You were better off shooting a film for $3,000 to $5,000, selling it for around 10, and then rinse and repeating. Because then there was not as much of a need to stiff you. Your film was the distributors now. They did not have to deal with you anymore. Mm-hmm. You were gone. So pay you off. You're fine. And so yeah, that's how people like Mike lived. Jack Braffman later started doing that for American film, then went on to do Distripix. Did Leonard Kurtman have kind of a similar deal with Distripix early on?
Yes, Kurt Films, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of did the same thing as well too, like 3,000 and sold them for more outright.
Yeah, and then Chuck Smith, same thing. Chuck Smith made movies and then sold them outright to Distripix too. So yeah, I mean that was kind of that's why like I know you've asked that on several previous episodes. It's like, well, how well did this movie did the directors know how well this movie do? It's like, no, they wouldn't, because they sold it. Yeah. Like they're not going to track it because they got the money to then pocket and then pay back anybody who invested in it, and then that's it. Like they're not going to track it or follow it because that they're on to the next thing, which I think is honestly, I think it's smart, especially if you know that you're not going to get stiffed. And there's also, I think Stan probably was the best one, but it's not like there was a lack of options for distributors in New York. Mm-hmm. So, but I think Mike got really lucky because we talked about it where he was with what's his face for Sin Syndicate.
Brenner.
And then he was with some Brenner, who was a nightmare. Mm-hmm. And then he was with, for that, I think that was Body of a Female too, it was those two. And then it was Satan's Bed for somebody else. And then he stumbled into Borden with Take Me Naked, and then he stayed there for like 4 years.
And that's why I find very fascinating about a company like American Film Distributors is just wading through their titles is they just run the gamut. Mm-hmm. From Michael's more polished MOS stuff to things that might have live sound, but were only photographed with one single light in a room, to weird arty stuff like Take Me Naked or Fluctuations, or to slop like All Women Are Bad or Love Captive that are absolutely batshit insane. Yeah. As well. The American film catalog is like a great like starter for us, like what we're gonna get every single week, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They also handled they also did regional distribution for like the Forbidden and for which is California, and then there was something else. There were some other ones that they did too, regional distribution too. So that also makes it a more diverse catalog because then you're dealing with like films shot in color or films shot not outside of New York apartments that aren't that don't look the same. His French imports are pretty good too. I think he had good taste in those too, generally.
Yeah, one or two, and he did some ballsy stuff as well. Like some of the content that he let slide in a few of these movies, I'm like, oh man, that must have gotten snipped out of some prints.
Probably.
Like some of the things he accepted,
well, it's even interesting to like, because you mentioned that like he's like lower to mid tier, not like a Canvas or something. I feel like he started out I think his quality was higher when he started out. And then as things got sleazier and grosser in the industry, he really started wallowing in the gutter. After
a time, he had a really good like kind of system going on there. He had the same consistent campaigns. He had the exact same uniform look. Almost all his films would first go premiere either at the Cameo or the Tivoli, so on and so forth. So yeah, the first couple of years are very interesting because at the very least he cares enough to use a little bit of like splashes of red in his campaigns and things like that. But yeah, they are some of the grimiest looking little bad boys.
Sensual pleasure is their greatest goal in life. They dance a dance of desire, desperately seeking gratification. They thrive on lust.
That's what I mean when I say their quality is kind of very fascinating and things like that in terms of like, they weren't about to release like or produce bigger things like Arouse, which was like $20,000 or like $40,000, but something like the Olga films, which only cost a couple grand each, but had really good technicians and people behind them, so they look more expensive.
Right. But then you had dystrophic shit like Frustrated Cherie or any of the Leonard Kurtzman shit, or it's just like that's lower quality than the American film catalog. So like there were levels.
I mean, as a distributor,
like
not in terms of films, but I mean, like as a distributor, not the quality of their product, but like they weren't like doing really big runs in the big houses. None of the American product was going to play the Pussycat. Not even at the Monica for a lot of the time. You know, like it, like he was consistent and made really good money and things like that. But it was not one of the really, really big guys.
Right. It's so interesting. I love his catalog. There aren't that many missing, are there? I feel like there's only like a handful.
There's a chunk. There's a chunk still. Like every once in a blue moon, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, the Rodkin's missing, massage parlor's missing, and a few of one or two things have shown up, but I want to say at least 2/3 of it exists.
Oh, yeah.
In some way, shape, or form. They were, the catalog was kind of fragmented. Like they weren't all found in one place.
Right.
Like, because some had even been like a bunch of them were abandoned at Movie Lab. Some had actually, a chunk of them Mike found, they had been sold to Harry Ferris over in California. Harry Ferris ended up with a chunk of the catalog. Things like Take Me Naked and White Slaves of Chinatown. So some of these actually showed up all the way over in California. And where the final third ended up, it's a mystery. Because I don't think we have Sunswept. Eve's on Skis, I don't think so.
Eve's on Skis exists, but
it does?
Not on film. Yeah, it's available. You can see it.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Because I think, actually, it's because that was an import. So anything import, I don't assume that would ever be here. I feel like they would maybe have a dupe negative here. I don't know if he ever bought those in perpetuity either, because I think Eve's on Skis came out as a DVD extra for something in the UK.
Oh,
so
okay.
the UK distributor has it.
And also, because you were there back when these were first being found, so some other films also took a while to surface as well, too, right? Like The Kiss of Her Flesh.
Kiss of Her Flesh took forever. Yes, Kiss of Her Flesh. So I don't know. Find.
I'm not sure where that showed up. So like 2 or 3 spots. These films have been kind of spread out, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, there was definitely that, but then it was also like they were going through and transferring stuff constantly. So they were constantly discovering stuff that either wasn't labeled or was incorrectly labeled, or because there was a massive amount of stuff. I think that was the case with Kiss of Her Flesh.
Yeah,
I think that was kind of the situation.
Too.
Yeah, so I think it's it's kind of like with the Brenner stuff, where like the imports, I think, go back to the well on those, like go back to the source country for those. But like something that's like Case of the Stripping Wives was distributed here by American Film. I think it was handled by Interfilm in Florida, but I think it was them everywhere else, American Film distributing, and that's like not anywhere. All we have is that silent reel, I think, and that's it.
Yeah. Also, Smut Peddler. Yeah. So mostly, we're pretty lucky. Yeah. We're pretty lucky with this catalog, unlike Chancellor.
Yeah. Unlike Chancellor,
or something else.
Yes, or Chelly. Yeah.
You could watch like the Stan Borden catalog and get a pretty good picture of like the changes in the sexploitation film industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they're pretty consistent too. There aren't that many like outright dogs in that catalog.
There's the Jack Braverman stuff is,
but even those are like fascinating. At least 1 or 2 of them are really interesting.
But that's bottom of the barrel. But even stuff like Jennifer and Una, Jennifer is good, and I like Marina. Una is imported from San Francisco. Una's good. So yeah, I think it's a very consistent catalog. I mean, whether he had any kind of taste or not, or he just bought based on how he could market it, I think it's pretty consistent. There aren't that many movies that I would say don't watch this in their catalog. Yeah, Fluctuations is one of those.
Yeah. So they're done at 1970. There's nothing after that, right?
Not that I can find.
Well, kind of. So. Yes, because not for a hot minute, but later on, when Stan was investing in Mike's 3D lens.
Right.
One thing, there's a really weird period in 1976 where the lens was taking a long time to be developed. So Stan produced Funk 3D, utilizing some of the test footage from the lens, but also just like he was a little bit concerned as to where his money was going. So he's like, let's do something with this lens. So they shot Funk 3D. He released that. The ads I've seen say American film. That's 1976. And then one of his biggest releases, which tragically for him absolutely tanked after the first week, was Bloodsucking Freaks as the Incredible Torture Show, which Stan gave a very big release to that multi run.
Well, we heard the tapes. Remember, Casey, of your friend Adrian? He was going to see our friend
John Moser's tapes with our least favorite person, Bill Landis.
Yes, on the phone with Bill Landis, and Bill Landis was going to see Bloodsucking Freaks under that title, under the Incredible Torture Show title. 80s. And the way Landis was talking about it was like, this is a big production. It was like a big party, and it was a...
Sorry. Oh, no, that was a reissue. That was 80... That recording is from 81 or 82.
Yeah, you're right. So that was like the reissue of it.
After.
Yeah, that would have to be the
But it sounds like they were still making like a big show of it. You know, this is kind of like a midnight showing kind of thing.
I think Troma had it at that point.
Troma had it at that point. It should not have been as big of a release as it was. Someone convinced Stan to do like a big multi-run, like multiple day and dates, which... It probably just should have stayed at like one theater for the most part. It did great the first week. It did fantastic business the first week. And then the second week, it immediately died. It completely just just absolutely ended things. And that was the end of Stan Borden. Apparently, he wasn't doing the best health-wise either as well up into the 70s and things like that either. Like the wind was starting to get out of his sails a little bit. He was always a little bit unhealthy. Like he just always kind of was at the end of the day. Smoked a lot. Everyone always comments that he always had cigar ash on him whenever they met him. Like he drooled a little bit and had cigar ash on him at all times, but he was lovely.
I always think of Lorraine with Stan, which is not the case, because I mean that was something interesting as I was researching Lorraine, because I was trying to see if she's still around, and she's not. She died in 2018, but she was someone who she became super successful. I think more successful than Stan ever was. I mean, I found a really good article in the New York Daily News in the business section where they had this whole focus on her with a photo of her and everything in her office of Great Scott Advertising, which was named after her son, and no mention of her background in film, no mention of Stan whatsoever. It really was just about how she basically built herself up. And apparently Stan worked at her office, but I don't know in what role. That's not mentioned in that article. And I think she was actually really heavily involved with that 3D process in terms of financing and trying to figure out how to market it and get other financiers involved. Because when in there, I found an article where it was reporting on Finley's death, and Lorraine is quoted because she said, "Yeah, my company was investing in his 3D process, and he was a technical genius." Like she had nothing but good stuff to say about Mike in that interview. But I think she's also, I don't know about Lorraine, because she had a long-term business relationship with Donald Trump. She was most of her marketing and everything and advertising was involved with real estate in New York. And so she got a shit ton of money from all these real estate people, and Donald Trump was one of those. So Trump Tower, she was very involved with Trump Tower from the very beginning. She was involved with Trump starting in like the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, the infancy of Trump. And she kept a relationship going with him until the agency closed and she retired. So don't love that.
I mean, I feel like you can't be in real estate in New York and not run into Trump at that time, you know.
I mean, running into Trump is different than actively promoting him and contributing to his image and making him popular in New York and helping him make money and that kind of thing. So, I mean, she was kind of, I consider her like a henchman, essentially. Because
all I've ever heard is that she was a very tough, take it or leave it kind of woman.
Yeah, I get that impression from her.
All I really got from her. Although apparently she did do some film campaign stuff too, because Lloyd Kaufman once mentioned that she had done some work.
She did Little Shop of Horrors for Warner Bros.
Oh, yes.
Which is crazy. I'm just like, what do you mean she did Little Shop of Horrors? It's mentioned in that article. I said, really? Okay. Good for her. But their son is still alive. It was Scott Borden, and I'm like, should I reach out to see if he wants to talk about his parents? I have no idea. I also don't know if Stan is his father. because he was born 1970. They married
They
in
got married.
1971.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she had him before they got married and it's Stan's son, or if that was a son from another relationship and they met a year later. I don't know the nature of that relationship and the development of it. I'd love to know. Maybe Scott knows.
Did you ever actually talk? Did you actually ever talk to her? Because you had her number, right?
No, I had her number for years, and I never called her because everyone, you know why? Because of fucking Bill Landis, where Bill Landis says that everyone's a nightmare. It turns out they're not a nightmare. They're only a nightmare because he was a nightmare, and he scared the shit out of people and bothered people over the phone. Sort of like everyone was terrified of Roberta. Everyone was terrified of Roberta for years because he harassed her so hard. She still, to this day, does not answer her home phone number. It's, so Bill Landis developed reputations around people like, oh yeah, I don't talk to them. They're really a pain in the ass. And then it turns out, no, they weren't. You were the pain in the ass. And they didn't. They thought every researcher was like you. So, it's an uphill battle when you have people like that who are representing researchers and pulling shit like that. So I never got to talk to her. Apparently another researcher has, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see Stan in Olga's Girls.
And George Weiss, yeah.
And George Weiss, yeah.
I will say, not into Stan, gotta say.
Not
attractive.
Well, he's not an actor performer, so you don't need to judge him.
I don't care. There are hot men in this business.
Yeah.
Sandy Johnson, there are hot men in this business.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not.
Sandy, awakening in a drug stupor, can think only of revenge and retaliation. Violence is imprinted on her brain and ticks away like a time bomb.
So, thinking about Stan's catalog here, where does Joel fit? To me, he's like an outlier in that he seems like an artsy guy.
I don't think Borden financed the stuff. I think it was all self-financed and he bought it outright. I don't think Borden was a financier for any of this.
You don't think they had an agreement beforehand?
He was a distributor. No, I don't think so.
Well, so what else would you really do? Because after you're making experimental film doesn't make money. What's the closest cheap genre
Sex.
that you can do? Yeah.
Right.
To try and make something. So, So, who knows? He could have just been looking through distributors. Could have done what Finley did and just look at the one sheets of the distributors that were playing on.
Same reason we love them. We get to see all the distributors.
There were a few catalogs. One of the things I had that listed American film distributors, that was just a catalog of all sorts of different distributors, and it says they're we handle normally exploitation type stuff and things. So there were a few resources around at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what I'd like to know, who distributed Puritan's Dream, because I can't find any evidence who distributed it. But the fact is, he got his foot in the door with that short film, so it's possible he used that as a calling card and was like, "Well, I have this movie, I did it in theaters,
I have made.
So why don't you take a chance on purchasing this movie from me, regardless of whether it's good or not?" I think that was the situation, and then he was fair, and then he went back to him with Fluctuations a year later. And then something happened. He didn't make any others to the best of our knowledge. But yeah, I don't think Borden didn't finance these. I don't. Yeah, that's the case for most of these distributors that we're talking about. Distripix very rarely financed those movies. A lot of them they were brought to them by enterprising filmmakers that had put money into their own money or investors' money into this project, and they wanted to sell it so they could get the money back to give to the investors and make a profit for themselves. The Amaro brothers were like that. Yeah, that was kind of the case. You took a chance making these movies independently. You had to hope you would find a distributor who would give you a good deal. Distributor is very different from production and producers. That existed, but not as frequently as one would think.
Yeah, so In Hot Blood was the first to be released. Where do we begin with In Hot Blood? Let's look at the release history quick. So tell me more about these Frank Henlotter sexy shockers, how much he was involved. I don't think we've ever talked about this.
Well,
maybe this is a good opportunity.
I'm wondering about them. I'm trying to remember because I interviewed him about this for a paper I did at NYU specifically about something weird. And I got to interview Mike, and that was great before he passed away. I think Frank, I'm trying to think, I don't remember how Frank got into something weird fold.
Oh, Frank got something weird fold because he was at first a buyer. Like he was at first like looking for these films. He came across the ads. Sexy shockers happened because that was just Mike. Frank did not. Frank has been quoted as saying, "I don't think we sold a single one based on my name." Mike just wanted to do it.
He wanted to put his name on it.
But I think he's being.
I mean, I don't know.
Humble.
I don't know, but that's.
I think he's being humble because I think as he's known for like Basket Case, Brain Damage, Frankenhooker. Like I think he's known for mixing weird nudity and sex with violence, and so I think that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect from the Sexy Shocker series. They're going to be sexy movies with like violence or horror elements in them. And he wrote the liner notes for all of them, which was great. And his liner notes were always great because he wasn't gonna try to sell you some movie as some great lost work of art. He was gonna tell you it was a piece of shit, but he was also gonna tell you it was crazy enough to get your attention. Like In Hot Blood is a good example. He wasn't gonna try to tell you it was some lost horror sex gem. It's just like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know, I can't believe people would go see this movie expecting to see naked ladies, and they see this, you know. And also Frank had a background of going to see these movies. So, yeah, like you said, Alex, like he's buying these movies because he saw a lot of them when they were in theaters. So he's kind of the perfect person you want on board. He was kind of like a Joe Bob Briggs who was actually a filmmaker, and he had more of a pedigree in actually going to see specifically the New York films when they were showing at these flea pits on 42nd Street. He's like a genuine 42nd Street Pete
He's one of the few that has seen things that we can't see.
Right.
Prowl Girls, House of Cats, Vampire's Lust.
Exactly.
Like he's one of the very few survivors that.
Yep.
And he has a good memory about it from what I've heard him when I hear him talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
All right. So it was a Sexy Shocker number, volume 43, and then later reissued on the Image DVD triple feature paired with Ultimate Degenerate and The Lusting Hours, two far superior films.
Fantastic release.
I think
Lusting Hours is weaker than In Hot Blood, but okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, mister. You've really changed since your DVD drive-in days, my good man. Like, oh my goodness.
I have. Well,
I originally bought this release being fully right. Oh, okay.
Oh, I think all of them are great. And actually, that's my DVD. I can't find it, so now I have to pay, $75 to replace it? To buy some used copy for some exorbitant amount. Yeah, I think I raved about it on my DVD drive-in review. In Hot Blood. I did not.
No, you did. I remember going to the video store to pick this DVD up. Ultimate Degenerate and Lusting Hours are apparently great. The Hot Blood's going to be a bad time. And he went right back with Fluctuations. Oh, the guy who put out that awful Hot Blood is back with Fluctuations.
Oh, really? I remember loving.
Yeah, you were a bit brutal with that one. Yeah. So when you started changing later on, I was like, "Oh, Casey, are you okay? Like, what's going on?"
When was that written? Here? Because we know in 2015. Casey posted in the Something Weird group saying you should go see In Hot Blood. It's great.
And I remember reading that and going, "Is he okay?"
So something changed in between our DVD drive-in.
I'm way backing machine my review. Let me see. Hold on. What the fuck? Did I really do this?
Maybe not as savagely as I remember, but I remember fully.
Here, this is a quote I wrote. Anyone who says In Hot Blood is a piece of shit is 100% right, but it's the best piece of shit you'll ever see. Sheer bad movie genius. Something Weird deserves a shiny, nice medal for unearthing this baby. I don't know how much longer I could have survived without this hitting DVD.
Yeah,
it says In Hot Blood is possibly the wildest non-Findlay roughie to come out of New York City, and I can say that without reservation. In barely 60 minutes, there's enough somnambulistic acting, tame sex, goofy plot developments, and bare titties to please a horny grindhouse audience, not to mention the completely unexpected violent climax.
Yeah, what was I reading? Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Lusting Hours.
Actually, I was too excited about Ultimate Degenerate. Yeah, no, that was it.
That's my favorite Findlay movie is Ultimate Degenerate. Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, hands down. Mm.
Yeah.
At midnight in some flaming town, when spring trips north again this year, and I to my pledged word am true, I shall not fail that rendezvous.
But I don't know where we start with this because it's like, it is very Take Me Naked, and then it opens with a poem.
Yes.
It's like, oh, art. Okay.
Yeah, it opens as if it might be something with like the credits burning up on a piece of paper.
And then we love credits written on a naked body.
Yeah.
Always love that.
Yeah, that poem. It's like old World War One poet. I have a rendezvous with death, and I don't think it really. I don't know if it really. I guess it sets up Doris's fall from grace. She's doomed from the beginning. I guess that's the idea, right?
Right.
I've heard that poem so many times. I swear he just walked into a bookstore, picked up the first book, and was just like, okay. Yeah.
Probably the bookstore where he found a book written by a Doris Porro, which is not the star of this
that is a
movie.
fascinating
That might be a different
those
bookstore.
are very obscure, dirty books. I was about to say, that's a fascinating bookstore because those publications up there are super obscure.
Well, Entered
Even
in
for
All
dirty
Places came out
books.
in 1968, so...
Yeah, no,
like
those
the
ones with the
tracks.
Statue of Liberty, those are very obscure. So this was an interesting bookstore if it had both of those.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
not in New York.
So what we're talking about is the lead in this movie, Doris Pero. There are some books credited to someone with that same name. We're not sure if it's her. I don't think it's her.
With how unenthusiastic she is, I don't think
Yes,
she could
I know.
have sat down at the typewriter and
I
really
didn't want
gone
to say it, but yeah, you
hard.
Yeah.
Everyone, just go watch the banana scene and you'll agree with me.
Oh my god.
I was like, Stacey
you know what?
Walker, where are you?
I know. Wait,
She
should we
would've-
do the plot summary before we even go further?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Like, we should do liner notes?
Yeah. I don't know. Do I want to read that huge paragraph? Or do you have a shorter
do.
one? Go
No, I can
go.
run through it.
All right, go for it.
Okay. Okay, so, something written by Frank Henenlotter. Rita, an ordinary girl with an extraordinary body, decides to put that body to work by becoming a nude model. This somehow immediately leads to the kind of orgies where guys are tied up with electrical cords and stepped on with high heels, while Rita sits on the side, foolishly blowing a banana. But things get really insane when Sandy, a black model, shoots up methadrone and starts a fight with Rita and another gal, Roberta, who has a deformed thumb. Never noticed that.
I didn't
Unfortunately,
either.
Sandy... I didn't either. Yeah, unfortunately, Sandy gets so belligerent that Rita and Roberta are forced to bang her head repeatedly on the floor until she passes out. Then they flee to Roberta's apartment where they console each other by rubbing ice on their nipples and beating each other's butt with a leather belt. All too soon, however, Sandy awakes, takes a meat cleaver out of her dainty little handbag, and stages an old-fashioned massacre that leaves our three lovely heroines hacked up, bloody, and dead on Roberta's couch. The end. Imagine yourself back in 1968, hoping to pass an hour ogling naked girls and stumbling into a theater showing this.
Let me just add, folks, that this little lady's purse, I would kill for What's in My Bag video from her, because there is a full meat cleaver, there is meth,
Crazy.
and all the
Yes.
works in it as well, too. What else is...
She has all of her junk. It's crazy. And she's
Yeah, but
probably
not
the
a gun.
worst.
She's tough.
I
She
think
will
she's
come after
the
you with a
worst in the
cleaver.
film, actually.
Yeah.
She looks very confused. The whole
And she
movie.
can't keep a straight face in the finale when she's supposed to be like murderous.
No. Which is,
But
That's
it
what,
adds
that is kind of why I
the
love this movie, because
strangeness.
it's just nobody is taking this seriously at all. Like, it's just, I think Joe Ellen's the only one who's doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think Joe Ellen's the only one. I think she was a professional model. So, like, I think she's the only one who kind of is like, this is a real job. I've done movies before. And then she shows up with these half-assed amateurs.
She's the one with the shortcut, right? She was the one with the short
she's the
Pixies cut.
Pixie.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
she's in, like,
Okay.
Felicia and Girl from
Yeah.
Pussycat. And, yeah, she's fantastic. I love her. But she disappears pretty quickly.
She's just in that modeling scene, right?
She's in that
Yeah.
and then the orgy sequence.
Is
yeah.
she in the orgy? Okay.
Unfortunately, because I don't recognize anyone. I wonder where he got some of these other people from his weird underground connections or something. Like, I don't recognize
that's
anyone
Blonde,
besides-
the blonde is around because I checked her resume and I was like, is this accurate? And I confirmed that it is.
the Patty McNair
She's
lookalike.
No, that
Or
girl,
the
I
one
don't
with
know
the
where she
bangs.
is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's great. I don't know who she was, but no, it's Ruth Cologne.
Oh, yeah.
Colon. I'm gonna say Cologne. I think it sounds better than colon. But she's the blonde. She has a striptease sequence in Love Is Where It's At, which is Joe Ellen is
yeah.
in that, and she has the credits painted on her body at the beginning. And then she's in a short called My Cup Runneth Over with Judson Todd and Yolanda Signorelli, who's also in Love Is Where It's At.
Very similar
68 was a good
soundtracks
year.
as well, with Love Is Where It's At in this one, too.
Yes,
Very Valentino,
absolutely.
that one.
Yes, and Love Is Where It's At. Philip Baker Hall, screen debut, R.I.P.
Oh, funny.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah. Playing Phil Vane, private detective. Have you seen that, Gentry?
I don't think
Love
I
Is
have.
Where It's At. Oh, it's good. It's pretty good. I enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
It's fun. I don't
Alex
know.
is
It's, you know,
biting
it is
his
what it is.
tongue.
Larry Hunter is like a killer. Like, you know, it's fun. It's like a grizzled.
I love Larry
it's
Hunter,
just
so
it's a film noir private detective story. It's fun.
I love Jackie. That's about it. Not gonna lie. And
Jackie's good
the
in it.
credits and the
And
credit
Joe
sequence.
Ellen is good in it. Yolanda Signorelli is good in it. Like, I don't know. It has
As
a
well.
fun cast. Yeah. I'm a Yolanda person.
I'm not as much of a Yolanda person. Just with
Oh, yeah. No, I love her.
4 stars from Casey for Love Is Where It's At.
It was
Yeah.
4.5. I changed it.
Oh, okay.
I thought that's a lot. But yeah, no, I think it's
And a typical
It
just
lures you
watched
right
from
in.
Alex, no rating.
I don't rate most things.
I know.
that's true.
I rate next to nothing.
That's
What do you
true.
mean? You have to ask
That's
if you
true.
want to know.
Yeah, but I love the
secret.
opening of this because you have the poem and then you have her like walking down the street petting a cat, which is, I guess, character development. And then she goes up a scary stairway to her modeling session, where this is my favorite sequence in the whole movie is the modeling session because it has great music from Valentino Major. And basically, you know that Joel was directing off camera, and so the camera tilts, the models change pose, tilts again, models change pose, tilts again.
Yeah.
But you know these women are not professional models, so they're making some of the most ridiculous poses ever for a session. So it's unhinged from the very get go of these women who don't know how to model or pose or look sexy in the
And
least.
they
so
all
you know
look
you're in for a
different.
good time.
They all look different.
Yes.
They're not interacting with
Very
each other.
diverse.
What is the assignment for? We don't know what this photo assignment is for because none of them look exactly the same. They're not doing
And then
anything with each
the girl
other.
playing Sandy thinks that she can just have her back to the camera a lot. Like she turns around, has her back to the camera. I'm like, that's not how photography works, honey. You're a model. We need to see you. So I'm just like, that's part of why I love this movie is because you can kind of hear the direction in your head.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's-
okay, rub the nipple on your with the ice
Rub
cube
the ice on the-
and do this, right? It's just like
It's totally like well, you could see them looking up at someone else on occasion
Yeah.
too,
Oh, yeah.
as well. You could fully see the women look up, like, are we cutting yet? Do I have to keep rubbing? I'm still rubbing.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
This cube is almost melted. Okay.
I know. And then you have the narration, which is great, which I think is Joel. Because I added that to IMDb. I'm pretty sure that is Joel.
Okay, yeah, I wondered that.
Very, very fey voice, which again lends some credence to my theory that he might have been gay. Very New York accent. Also love that. And very amateurishly recorded narration. It just sounds like he recorded it in like his closet of his apartment, on like a reel to reel.
Yeah, it's interesting he didn't do narration for Fluctuations. He maybe... Go
No,
ahead.
but isn't he on the phone calls?
Is that him on the phone calls?
I don't know if that's him or not.
I don't
Actually.
think-
I can't tell.
I don't
It
think
doesn't-
so. The voice
the
is different.
inflection's not the same. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's not.
Because
It's
he
not
kind of has
fey,
a
it
little
doesn't have that
lispy,
accent.
lispy voice a little bit in
Yeah,
in
he's
Hot
distinct
Blood.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't think it's Fluctuations.
We'll get to that,
Yeah.
yeah. Or maybe we'll just combine this whole discussion is about both of them.
Well, they're
Like-
so different. I mean, In Hot Blood is tolerable.
Yeah.
Fluctuations
Yeah.
is not.
Okay, so yeah, in Hot Blood
Fluctuations.
has plot beats that go places.
Things happen.
Fluctuations does not. Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
Yeah,
It has a
Fluctuations.
disembodied
it's-
hand. It has the worst blood effects ever.
Oh yeah. We can't forget the great Meat Cleaver Massacre. I got like 10 good
So
minutes of this
crazy.
movie. Hey, I'll give you that. I'll give it that. A Meat Cleaver
it's
Massacre in a roughie. Not gonna lie, pretty pleased.
The editing around it is worse than Milligan. Like way worse.
This film looks like he just kind of he didn't actually like watch this at speed. He just kind of held the film up to his eye and went, I guess I'll cut here.
Yeah, I could
Right.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a third of the time this film isn't even in focus.
Correct. It takes quite a while for the film to actually get into focus when you're watching it. Like the full opening the whole opening sequence on the street into the apartment building is out of focus. Which just goes to show you that I don't think Borden paid a lot to purchase this. I don't
No,
think,
probably not. First time
there's
too.
no way.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, there's no way. Fluctuations is at least in focus. I'll give it that. Fluctuations is a technical improvement. The editing is also better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Way better.
Nothing else about it is. So,
I mean, I'll say Fluctuations to me has interesting ideas, but in a 20-minute movie, not in a 60-minute movie. It's an experimental art house film. It's not supposed to be taken as a real narrative piece.
But it makes me think of what Puritan's Dream was.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Puritan's Dream is in this movie. Maybe Puritan's Dream was cut into this film and then he shot stuff around it. I don't know.
I really do like to think Puritan's Dream had all that karate. Mm-hmm.
Well, Puritan's Dream also, based on its description at Filmmakers Co-op of the print they have, it was in black and white and in color. So Joel Landwehr did shoot something in color for that feature. And
strange.
God, I cannot wait. I hope I get to see it at some point.
It's near you. It is available.
Filmmakers Co-op right here in New York. I need somebody to set it up and screen it for me in 16 millimeter. Oh wait, so are we Doris Poro fans?
There are fans in the Facebook forum.
I like Doris Poro. Because she looks like, first of all, she does have a body that won't quit. I will say she was cast well. I also like the fact that this movie has a Latino lead and a black woman in it, which is very uncommon for this era. So, yeah, she looks like a deer caught in headlights. She clearly signed up to do a day's work and maybe got in over her head. But there is something appealing about her because it really does look like she was a model, and it really does kind of echo like her stumbling into this movie by accident and then and then just wandering out. Well, she dies at the end, but at the end of the movie, she's like, okay, I'm going home.
With the best death face, where she's like really trying hard not to blink.
She has the best death face of all three of them, actually. I think, which is a low bar, but you know.
Yeah, she's another one of my favorites in that she's again one of these ladies who's just so wonderfully unflustered about all the debauchery happening around her.
Right.
She's like,
very knockers.
Yeah, exactly. Right. She's like, well, I mean, I'm in New York now. Guess New Yorkers are just like this.
Right, just It's like, well, I guess if I'm going to be a model, this is what I have to do, and I have to suck on a banana and make it look sexy, and is this good?
Yeah, this is what the gals for Vogue do. Like, no, this is just standard. Like,
right. There's something very, charmingly amateur about her, which I'm just, I don't hate her. There are worse leading ladies. What's her face from Starlet is way worse. She's like a charisma vacuum, but no, there's something about her. I don't know.
Yeah,
nobody else makes an impression in this film. Jo Ellen, I think, is misused. I guess to segue, she's in Fluctuations. She is the first person we see. She's reading the voyeur at the beginning. She's the only cast member in both movies. Jo Ellen's the woman reading the voyeur at the beginning.
Jo Ellen. Yes, sorry, I thought you meant Doris.
Jo Ellen.
I was like,
No.
Yes,
no,
so
Jo
that is
Ellen.
her.
Yeah.
And like you said, there is that connection of dirty books. I mean, the voyeur and his follow-up, The Exhibitionist, they're not dirty books. They're not these books that...
Well, and interesting connection. So, an article I found where Joel was at some high society affair with this actress, Sarah Smithers, and they're described as, he's producing a movie called Venus and Adonis, and she's the star, which, as far as I know, the movie never happened. But Sarah Smithers is the model on the back of that book. She posed semi-nude for the cover of that book. So it's kind of like an inside joke of this is the actress that I was working with, and now she's technically in my movie because she's on this book. So I did find that very interesting when I found that connection. I was like, oh, wait, this is the book that Gentry put in the show notes.
Yeah.
That's very strange. Interesting.
Yeah, because I remember when I first watched the movie, I immediately was like, oh, I kind of want to read this and see if there's some connection with the film. And there kind of is. I mean, art-wise, but I think the content it's not directly connected in any way.
No, I guess not.
But yeah, that is funny that the actress that he wanted to cast in his other movie is on the book that she's reading in his movie later. Yeah, that's funny.
Yes. And she was arrested getting photographed for the cover of that. No, she was arrested
She was doing publicity,
doing a photo
right?
shoot promoting the book, and she was arrested. Yeah. Interesting girl.
Yeah.
Hopefully she gets back with me, because I'd love to know more about this.
All right,
Joel
Sin Syndicate
relationship.
Book Club. Let's read The Voyeur
Let's read The
together.
Voyeur.
Alex,
Okay.
you interested?
Sure. Sure.
That's actually not a bad idea. If
It's
Julie
pretty
and I can have a
long.
book club, I think we should be able to have a book club.
Yeah, right.
You know.
It's not like a little
Okay,
200.
you guys don't know what you're getting in for. Prepare yourselves.
Oh, you've read it?
No, I just mean this book club idea.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true.
Be
Yes.
careful.
Shitty. You like shit? You want me to shit in your mouth again?
No.
Let
Would you
me
like me to sit in yours?
I'll shit on you.
No, don't shit on me. I'll sit on you.
You like to
At
wallow.
least something pure will drop on you for a change.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
My shit. Nothing is as pure as my shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I only eat the finest asses in town.
Yeah, I believe that.
The liner notes that I cut and paste are by, and there's something weird catalog. They're written by Mike Accomondo, who was Dreadful Pleasures. Do either of you guys remember Dreadful Pleasures?
They ring such a bell.
No,
It was
I
a
don't
really
think so.
good fanzine that Mike put out, several issues, and it was like him reviewing movies. He had the best collection of newspaper ad mats and things for like all sorts of sexploitation, exploitation stuff. It's a gorgeously photographed zine. I think he was based in New Jersey. I haven't thought about Mike in years. I hope he's doing well. But yeah, he did a lot of liners for something weird. Like John Harrison did a lot, and there's a bunch of other people who are still around who did too. But I don't know if we want to read these liners. They're long.
Yeah, so Fluctuations.
He's trying. It's trying to sum it up in his liner notes, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
How do you do it?
Yeah, that's a bit much.
I typed all that.
I mean, everyone, the bare idea of Fluctuations is that it's people reading a book, erotic fantasies from a book, and reality and fantasy begin to blend with each other as the film progresses. People reading the book go into, like, characters from the book suddenly start, like, walking out into the living rooms of, like, the person reading it, or suddenly someone, like, shall we say, reading the book that seems to have karate is somehow actually fighting the karate guys later on and winning. Meanwhile, also, there is a continuous dialogue between a couple saying the most vulgar things to each other, while some other types of vulgar things happen on camera. I'm talking about the wound finger. I'm talking about the wound fingering and awful things like that. It's just weird stuff happening, folks. Yeah. That's it.
But not in an interesting way, in my opinion.
No, because it all drags out so long.
It's so boring.
It's interesting for the first 30.
It's interesting when stuff is happening on the phone call, and then when it just becomes nonstop moaning, it's so monotonous, and it's just
I had to skip
can we hear them? Can we hear them talking again? Because like the conversation, I think is interesting because it's just a pervert talking to like either a sex phone operator or a girlfriend or something. About what she will or won't do sexually. And that's interesting because it sounds like an actual genuine phone call that he recorded secretly and maybe the girl didn't know, you know, or he had a friend of his recorded or something. That's fascinating to me. But then it goes away and just becomes the moaning over the audio.
A loop.
And it's like,
it's a loop too.
Anyway, yes. Yeah, it's so monotonous.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah,
the karate
dude.
makes no sense. It has a karate consultant, and I can't find that guy. I don't even know. I don't know what the fuck that was. So
I don't think it
I
wants
have
to be found.
not a clue.
I don't
Exactly.
think it's found. Yeah, it has like
Well, the
three brief,
cinematographers are
interesting ideas. It does nothing with, for the most part.
But that's the thing. I don't know if there were actual ideas. I just feel like you know what it feels like? It feels like he had like a checklist and he was like, okay, check, okay, check, okay, check. And that was it. There's nothing else. At least In Hot Blood has like a narrative. Even if it's like a plot written on like a napkin at a diner before they started shooting. Fluctuations doesn't even feel like experimental films or like underground films. I feel like are filmmakers that are trying to do something with film, or at least trying to like play around with the medium. I don't think that's even him doing that. There's one really good editing moment with like the still photographs and then it like fades out and fades in. Like there's some interesting editing there, but then it's like it doesn't come back. So it doesn't even work as like an experimental movie because there's nothing he's experimenting with. It's just your typical bullshit. It's like a Jack Brabham movie with like a little more technical finesse.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's If Jack Brabham makes a more interesting movie than you got a problem. That's not good. That's not good. That's
Some
really
of the
not
close-ups I think are nice, where he intercuts a couple close-ups of like characters. I don't know. It feels semi-professional in that, you know, the camera is actually doing a few interesting things. It's not like stuck in one place, but
It's enough to make me very curious about what this third mystery film is.
I know, me too.
These two combined is just enough to make me wonder, did both like kind of blend well for a third film that we never saw? Right. You know, did we get a really great swan song and we'll never know?
Well, that's why I wondered if Puritan's Dream is in Fluctuations, because it feels like something that could have been already pre-edited into this film, and it feels like something that could be dreamlike or have like a dream narrative, or it's just a cutaway, or like maybe the punchline of like the title of Puritan's Dream is just like a long sex scene, and that's the punchline. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very tantalizing.
Well, the only reason why I enjoy it is because you have a big prick. It's the only good thing about it. It really turns me on. I mean, when I feel that in me, you know, the person above me doesn't matter anymore. It's just what he's got in between his legs. You know, so you don't need a face or a name or a personality. The only thing you do have is a prick, and that's what I like.
You like it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I go along with the rest of it.
So this played on a double billing with Come On Baby Light My Fire. That would have been a trip.
That was the earliest one, very end of 69 that I could find. Yeah. Which that's such a better movie. That's really crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the audience needs something after Fluctuations, so thank God.
Yes.
We don't know what order they played, though.
That's true. It depends when you walked in. Yeah.
Abandoning the theater after. It's just like they wouldn't hang out after that movie. They could have walked out. You got to flip those, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends when the person actually walked in.
The tagline is a sexplosive symphony. And I'm like, that is not accurate. There's no symphonic orchestral nature to this movie. It's just, especially with that looping background track, I don't know who came up with that idea.
I think that's probably what they're referencing, is because the audio never stops. So that's probably what they're referencing. And that as far as audio, there's always going to be something going. But that's not, as we learned from Sarno, sometimes you can work with silence and it works great. You know,
right.
Like sometimes you don't need a cacophony of sounds over the entire soundtrack. I mean, it's overcompensating.
Yeah, I think this probably could have helped if there was a little bit more silence in this, actually.
Also, just was a good time. 1969 in black and white, too.
I know. Well, I mean, 69, because Jennifer was black and white, Marina was black and white, Ultimate Degenerate was black and white. Like, American Film Distributing was doing almost exclusively black and white. They were not upgrading to color. So, and I think it's because I think that was Stan's money saving thing. I think it was cheaper to print negatives and prints in black and white than it was in color. So
yes, it was.
If you look at the catalog, there isn't a lot of color in that catalog after a certain point. It's like Primitive Love is color, Stripping Wives is color, Sunswept is color.
And at the very end, he almost tries to start a little bit with things like Una, and then there's this weird, mysterious film I've got called Fly Me, which I know is in color because I've seen frames from the trailer.
And Monosidika's color.
Monosidika. Though that was earlier. That was Monosidika sat on the shelf for a bit.
That was 16 millimeter then released color. 70, wasn't it?
I thought it was shot earlier, 16 millimeter color, because also Maria Lisa's in that. And she leaves New York by late 68. Right, so it
must have been 68. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it was on the shelf because then it was later inserted. I've got nothing on Fly Me. I have no idea. I need to go look for some ads or something like that because Fly Me's got nothing. It's just the poster art and then some mats.
It's not like Flying Acquaintances, is it? Because that's 73 and that's softcore. I wonder if there's a relation. That's the Jamie Gillis piece of shit.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Because Vinegar's going to put that out. It's terrible, but...
Well, it's funny because Jean Roland put out a movie in 74 and it was retitled in America, Fly Me the French Way, and it even got a Something Weird video release.
Right.
It even got a tape release.
Sexuel.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's a riff on, that title's a riff on that earlier Fly Me.
I don't know. That seems... Oh, you mean Fly Me the French Way could have been? Well, because Fly Me was a New World movie. That came out in 73. So
that's why it's even hard to find out about this movie because that one always comes up too. It's very hard to find anything about this Fly Me. I wish I got the trailer. I had it.
That airline stewardess movie or whatever it is. Yeah,
which is it's
From
fair.
73.
I have a soft spot for it, but a lot of people don't like it. Lila Terena, Ed Dupree's wife, one of those stewardesses in that.
Yep, you're right. Anyways, I was going to talk about... So, Fluctuations did not get a Hen and Lauder Sexy Shocker release because there's not really anything shocking in it.
It came out as a Twisted Sex Cinema series, which is probably more accurate.
Definitely.
Those are the two best series, honestly, in the Something Weirds, are the Sexy Shockers and the Twisted Sex. Because the Twisted Sex are almost all New York, black and white, really insane shit. Like so,
Alex's bread and butter. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think there's only a few exceptions. Like, The Walls Have Eyes is Florida, and then there's like a few other. I think Help Wanted Female is Twisted Sextum, and that's California. But most of them are down and dirty, grungy, black and white New York films like Fly Now, Pay Later,
paired with Vibrations and Submission on that triple feature.
Yeah, Submission was Twisted Sex. Yeah.
Such a roller coaster of a triple bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think if you're watching them in order, because it goes Vibrations, Fluctuations, Submission, that's a really rough roller coaster. Because you're starting with the best, and then you're going down into the swamp, and then you're coming back up to Submission, which is almost as good.
I think it's a fun triple bill for sure, and I love it's all like the singular word titles. No, I think it is.
I think two of those films are great. Fluctuations is like, what the fuck is this doing here? It's added value, I guess, but then that means that release has no trailers on it because there's no room for anything else. So
oh really? Because some of them do and some of them don't as well.
Exactly.
I think it's just
Submission,
dependent.
also the deleted scenes of Submission are on that too.
I think that mattered more than trailers.
Absolutely.
To have some space on, because the Ultimate Degenerate release does have trailers but nothing else.
Yeah, that's right. It does.
So what else are you going to put on? You got really cool outtakes or is trailers so you can stick somewhere else?
Well, also Vibrations didn't have a Sarno commentary, which I really wanted.
The commentaries were kind of done by that time.
I know.
Anyway,
tell me about it. I was reviewing all this shit and saying, "Where's the commentary?"
I was about to say, I don't even think Sarno would have really remembered a lot about Vibrations. That was just such a tiny little Morris Kaplan thing.
Well, then we could have heard all about Morris Kaplan, couldn't we? And Peggy's in it. We could have gotten an identifier possibly for Knockers McCullough. Could have gotten some Maria Lee stories.
Hey, I mean, that's still possible.
Well, Maria Lee's I have to call, but I don't know.
Well, so Vibrations has gotten released, but Submission, that doesn't have an upgrade yet, does it?
Submission. No, it doesn't.
So good. Yeah,
that needs a release. Yeah, for sure.
I know, it's so good. Fluctuations can... rot, but I like Submission. I really want a nice high def upgrade, please. Yeah, I love Submission.
Yes, anyone who hasn't yet, this is your cue to go check out Submission.
It's so good.
We're having a little mini Jennifer Wells revival lately, so let's get it out there.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, we just got Career Bed. We got Inside Jennifer Wells.
Right. Which I feel like that would have been the perfect time to put out Blonde Velvet and Temptations, which are also Distripics. I don't know why those weren't put out, but what do I know?
Well, I'll talk to your boy.
I
Morowitz.
should actually. Well, there's got actually, they got another big X-rated library that they're going to be doing major stuff with, which is great, but also means they're going to be bumping a lot more stuff off the calendar.
Talking about the Mitchell brothers.
No, they got another one.
Oh, okay. We'll talk later.
That'll be announced. It'll be announced in January, I believe.
Oh, a lot of good announcements in January. Jesus.
I know. Yeah.
Back to Fluctuations. I did want to mention, again, this kind of queer subtext going on here with Joel. This one definitely feels a lot more gazy with regard to like our male back ends and just how the camera is situated.
And full frontal.
Agree? And full frontal, yeah. Okay, we're all in agreement there. All right.
Yeah, no, I was wondering about that too. I just didn't really have anything. I was just like,
no argument from me.
Joel thought a bit about his men and things. Okay.
Right. Well, it's all like Twinkie dudes. The one guy looks very young. The guy who does the full frontal in the shower.
I think he's supposed to, because I think that's the angle of that scene is like he's with the older woman. She's supposed to be
that's true.
Much older, and he's the young boy. Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
I did not understand like the kidnapping that happens in this movie. I don't know how that related to anything.
No. Not a clue. There's no narrative to this.
I was going to say, how does anything happen in this movie? What do you mean? How does anything happen?
And sometimes with her still reading the book. It's like this shit. Is this supposed to be in the book? Are the karate guys next door to her while she's reading? Or are they in the book? Is the phone call in her memory, or is it part of the book? Who knows? I don't think they'll care.
Also, there's two different women reading books too, so we can't even tell. Yes. There's not just one woman reading a book, guys. There's two.
Yeah.
The second book, A History of Orgies, and there's only one. There's one orgy that we go back to over and over.
You just look like a threesome too. It's technically like,
which I guess is an orgy in the books. In the book, it's just like I think it's a waste of time to put too much thought into this because nobody else put this much thought into it. It's terrible.
And the orgy is a boy, and a girl. So it's like, if Joel had his choice, he's like, give me two guys. And anyway, golden shower. That's a pretty big deal, huh? In this movie?
Yes, that's true. Yes, that is true. But I don't know. At this point, we've seen so much crazy shit in like the Findlay movies. So it feels similar to that. I mean, at this point, we're like, this is the tail end of the roughies before we go off into hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's nothing that's off limits at this point except for actual hardcore. I don't think.
Yeah, it does feel like that. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the only other cast member that I recognize and I was happy to see is Kim Lewid, who I think most people know as Baby from 1,000 Pleasures, but she's in so much of this stuff. Sort of a very gangly blonde with an overbite, kind of like Roberta, actually, a little bit.
Her face definitely looks like Roberta when she's holding that globe. Yeah, she's like holding that globe and you see just like half of her face. The bottom half, it looks like Roberta.
Yeah, so she's in a lot of this stuff. It's like, and that she was very tail end. So she was like, it was like her, Susan Landau, Linda Boyce, Uta Erickson. That was all around the same era. But except Kim was in a lot of like the most low rent stuff. I feel like she would do. Yeah. She would take the lowest paying jobs because she just was like, whatever. I feel like she had a lower threshold for gigs than the rest of the girls in New York at that time. Because she shows up in really terrible stuff.
That's the thing I know, is because I love seeing her, but the movie she's mostly in.
Terrible.
Ultimate Voyeur.
Ultimate Voyeur.
So on and so forth. Yeah, besides the Findlay stuff, I can't think of another one that I'm like, oh, that's the only thing I liked about this movie is, oh, there's Kim in that lovely dress. Oh, at least she's on screen.
Right.
Stay on screen, Kim. Please stay on screen, please.
Right. Exactly. Well, like I gave this 1 star, and half the star is for the phone calls. The other half is for Kim. And that's it.
That's fair. Yeah, I think the phone calls are, like you said, the phone calls are interesting because there is no filter at all. It does seem like they're just talking off the cuff, like they weren't given direction.
Yeah. It feels like, it feels genuine. It doesn't feel like it was scripted or an act. It feels like it's an actual phone call.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
it might very well be. I don't think this was scripted.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well,
It
and the
doesn't.
weird-
Nobody in these movies is acting well enough to make it sound that convincing.
Yeah.
Like when she gets a little testy with him, that's not acting. Like when he's saying to like you put my cigarette in your ass, and she's like, no, I didn't. Like this is an actual conversation with these people. This is not a script or improv. They also can't improv well. So like I believe this is a genuine phone call.
It might be, yeah. Well, and it's interesting. I kind of browsed those books that John sent us, the Doris Poro books, and that language is in those books as well. That just like super dirty language.
That's how they were getting at that time as well too.
Yep.
The second when they thought they could get away with it, the pendulum violently swung.
Yep.
So that everything in those things is every other word is a 4-letter word.
Yeah,
it's like a kid finally like being able to like talk and just going for it. The books are just
that's what they read like
every single thing. Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah,
by this time in the early 70s,
because I have a ton of them, and I'm just like, God, this is terrible. You have to be like a real dyed-in-the-wool degenerate to like read this stuff and get off on it, because it's like there is nothing going on in this except like real bottom of the barrel filth.
The 70s stuff is really gross.
But then it becomes kind of boring after a while. It's like, okay, if there's no nuance or anything else going on, it's just kind of like, okay, this is it. Yeah, it's very much like the nonstop moaning on the soundtrack. I'm like, okay, this is it. Okay, great.
I mean, I think that is the way to look at it. Is like he is trying to make these books come to life on the screen in a way, and with all their faults.
There are other films that do that so much better.
Yeah,
who really do feel like one of these books come to life. We talked about a few of them. This is not one of them.
Yeah.
Even like Hot Erotic Dreams, I think, does that better, and it's set in around a bookstore. So I think that feels like
anthology
much
type of
more,
thing.
and that kind of tackles this thing much better, where it is centered around this erotic bookstore and like reading the books that are there, and it inspires fantasies that are then filmed, and they don't drag on that much. It's not a great movie, but I think it is a better encapsulation of like the dirty books that were being made around that time.
I'm equal to you any day.
Louise is better than you.
Oh, Louise sucks.
That's true. She sucks better than you
Oh,
ever will.
baby, she don't know how to suck like I do.
She's got the tongue of tongues.
Oh, please, her tongue is a crippled next to mine.
You're hot shit, baby, let me tell you.
Yeah, I remember when we first started this podcast, we were like, well, eventually we have to do Fluctuations just so that we can clip some of that audio. so I'll have some fun.
Wait, eventually we do? Okay.
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean?
That was a discussion?
Maybe this is just me.
For the record, this was not a discussion. I never would have done Fluctuations. Well, you know what? The only way it makes sense is if you're doing it combined with In Hot Blood, which I definitely wanted to talk about because I wanted to talk about Joel, and that's one of my big guilty pleasures. But Fluctuations doesn't work if you're not considering it as part of a twofer that this one guy did. It doesn't work on its own at all.
Yeah, but I think it does fit into the broader picture of understanding Joel, so it's worth talking about for sure.
Yeah.
That's Fluctuations and In Hot Blood. Yeah. Any last thoughts?
No. I like In Hot Blood, but I love the narration of In Hot Blood. And also the Valentino Major soundtrack is good.
Yeah, that's a good
point. Oh yeah, so many great recognizable tracks in that one.
It's a movie I can put on in the background, which I enjoy because the soundtrack is so good. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could recognize some more of the locations in Hot Blood. That's another reason Fluctuations sucks. It's got In Hot Blood, we at least get some really good New York street locations. We get Doris Poro and Ruth Colon running down the street.
Yeah,
Doris
you've identified that intersection, haven't you?
Shag thing. No, I was trying. Oh no, wait. Yes, West 67th Street. It's the Upper West Side, which is very unusual. But yeah, Fluctuations is all taking place in like 2 apartments. It's so,
Probably his
like,
apartment.
visually,
I mean,
Mhm.
maybe.
I mean, I want to know there's 2 big ones. There's the big living room, and then there's
Yeah.
the modern one where the ballet long hair dancer lady with all the books behind
Yeah,
her
which
too.
is different. Right.
There's some interesting
don't know.
locales. I'm like, who did you know? Who were you hanging
Yeah.
out with? That's what I would care more
Well,
about. Who were you hanging
Waha
out
people.
with?
Right,
Exactly.
He was
Exactly.
he was hanging out with Ultraviolet and the daughter of a British diplomat who was arrested for indecent exposure. Like he
Yeah,
was
so I just
hanging out
wanna
with
know,
like people.
like-
Yeah.
Was it one of their places? Like, yeah, I just want, yeah.
And also, like, his brother was successful in the world of like journalism and writing and stuff. So who knows who he was hobnobbing with his brother in like the New York literary world? Who knows? You know?
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah. So it just begs so many questions. Unfortunately.
I do get the feeling that he was like a literate guy, and he had certain artsy aspirations, and this was his way to get his foot in the door. Who knows what he would have done after? Yeah, it's too bad we never got anything else, because, I mean, maybe he would have made it out of sexploitation. Are there any good
He was
examples?
already out of sexploitation. He made his way into sexploitation to make money.
Yeah.
I believe Puritan's Dream is, from by all accounts, from what I've seen, not a sexploitation movie. He was already making artsy underground movies and then stumbled into sex movies because he could make them cheap and make a profit. And maybe that money was going to go into doing the artsy films, which I haven't found any evidence of. So,
Right.
yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like Spence Crilly, where Spence Crilly, wildly successful at industrial films, documentaries, and then decides to slum doing Saturn IX productions, and then which are shot for nothing just to make a little extra cash. So yeah, it's interesting. It really does feel like slumming, really.
A bit, yeah. I do like the ad mats for Fluctuations, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do
And
too.
that's very strong. That middle finger on
Yeah.
on Kim's mouth, that's a strong thing to put on your ads. Once again,
Right.
Stan being a bit more ballsy, because I can see that getting censored quite a bit.
I wondered about him. I don't know if you know, like Lorraine came from a background of like advertising and design and stuff. I wonder if she was at all involved with any of the ad campaigns and designs for any of those films near the tail end. I don't have any idea because I don't know when they met. I just know they married in 1971. I don't know if she was with him well before then.
Yeah.
That's a curious thing because I think I'd have to go back to it. It's not in the later edition. I think the first edition of the Ghastly one mentioned her having something to do with the campaigns, but then the latest edition doesn't have that.
Interesting.
I
wonder
think
if he
that's
was
where I
able to
read
confirm
it.
with her, maybe.
Possibly, or that because
Yeah.
yeah, but
I know
I don't
Bill-
know because
And I
Bill
know
interacted with them.
Landis- Yeah, Bill Landis interviewed Stan, and it's a terrible interview. It's all one-word answers, and because he's not a good interviewer. So, yeah, that interview was a total waste of time. If people haven't read it, don't go out of your way to try to read it. It's really a massive disappointment.
And Sleazoid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like a page and a half, and it's mostly one-word answers. I'm just like, God, this is what happens when you have this crazy maniac interviewing people. And apparently with Ava Leighton too, and interviewed Ava Leighton too before she died. And I'm like, that's the Ava Leighton interview that we have to deal with. Nobody else interviewed this very important woman behind Radley Metzger's films. That's crazy to me. So yeah, I guess we have Landis to thank, quote unquote, for speaking to them in some way.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm looking at more of these ad mats, like the Fluctuations, even the like font on it. It just looks nice. I don't know, something about it. It stands out.
I'd love to know who did the campaigns because they're all very consistent. They're all mostly the same. They were using the same people.
Yeah,
normally the same layout of like three or four images.
You see a lot. You see this particular font on a lot of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that font is, but you see it in a lot of their later period stuff.
Yeah, a bunch are obviously hand drawn, but there was a little resource that some of these folks had.
It even paired with Career Bed at Detroit double bill. So there's another Jennifer Wells connection. That's fun.
But it's always on the top half of the bill. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All I want to know is what on earth it was playing with it at the Capri in Detroit. Booing. I beg your pardon.
Booing is Dean Martin. No, it's not Dean Martin. It's Tony Curtis.
I was like, what am I thinking? This is in Hot Blood and Booing.
Yeah, booing booing is a
What
sex
intro?
Oh no, booing. No, I'm sorry. I think booing booing is isn't it boing boing? Isn't it the Lewis movie that they shoved at
Maybe.
the bottom half?
Possibly.
Which is
That
crazy because
just
that's 5 years old
changed.
at that point.
Wait, the nudie cutie boing?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's the only.
Hey,
that's the only
these
movie
things
that
kept
matches.
playing. These things just
Yeah.
kept shoving them back out. That's how it worked.
And it's color, even if it's old, it's color billed with a black and white movie. So at least you're getting some color, even if it's old, on the second half.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting because looking at that, you can see that it's showing at 2 theaters in Detroit. You know, there's only one print in that town, so that print has to go back and forth between these 2 theaters of In Hot Blood somehow.
Yeah. In another lifetime, that was
I'm not
Alex's
buying-
job. He was
to be the bicycle guy.
He was the bicycle
Oh yeah, to
guy.
drive that from one to another. That's how it works. Yeah, so some little
Yeah.
ticket taker. Hey, can you go drive this print to the next town? They need it for next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's interesting because
That's how
as
it
you
works.
look at this, so I guess for listeners' sake, I did like a timeline of the release of In Hot Blood across the nation. The earliest release I found was April 26th in Richmond, Virginia, and it didn't release until New York until like 2 weeks later. So it didn't even premiere in New York. I think it premiered in Richmond. So and then it premiered in San Francisco. It never premiered in LA, I don't think. And then it jumped all over the place. Then it also plays in certain theaters, then it plays in certain theaters packaged with Chain Girls in multiple different locations. So that's probably Stan or whoever his regional distributor was creating that package of 2 Stan films and then being able to get that booked by different people in wherever his territory was.
I was just also about to say, for those of you out there who are like wondering also how some of these things could be like connected with something like Career Bed, it could just be the same sub distributor. Like, let's not forget as well, like sub distributor handled multiple different like national distributors' product. So it might be strange for like the outlier to like look at that ad for it. I don't know, it playing in Arkansas or somewhere with another film. But you have to remember that sub distributors dealt with multiple main distributors' product at a time.
Right. Well, and this is another case. So, like, In Hot Blood, double feature with Another Day, Another Man, which is 2 years old at that point. It played double feature with those 2 in that double feature played in Richmond, Rochester, and Knoxville. 3 very different territories, double featured with those two movies paired together in those different territories. But that's either Stan packaging them to that region, or it's one regional distributor handling all of those.
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably not Rochester, but possibly Richmond, possibly Virginia and Tennessee together, though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's interesting to see the history of the movie. It jumps all over the place. Yeah, it jumps all over the place. It's not a situation where, like, if you think a movie's opening in one place, like if it opens in New York, and then you'd think of it, okay, it's going to move west gradually, but that's not what happened. It'll open in Richmond first, and then New York, and then El Paso, and then Miami, and then all over the place. There is no.
It can also just Well, sometimes it can just be a weird scheduling thing. Like I can imagine, like had to wait like 2 weeks for the cameo for another feature to like leave, because that happens sometimes. Right. Like Stan was dealing with a lot of different product, so things just kind of get staggered because there's only so many people. Like, hold on a second, I need to deal with your past film first.
Yeah.
Right.
Before this show comes on.
Right. So it's just interesting to see.
Yeah, how many prints is he striking of something like In Hot Blood?
10 or less, probably.
Yeah, you're dealing with literal
5 to 10.
prints here. Yeah.
That
you have to move around. Yeah.
That too. Yeah, so you have these print exchanges that are trying. When it's done, that needs to be shipped out immediately to the next territory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's just interesting to see what also some of them are double filled, and some of them open. Like Hot Blood doesn't necessarily always open at the top of a double bill. Mm-hmm. It could open new at the bottom of a double bill because it's not considered hot enough or good enough. Like it premiered in Atlantic City, New Jersey, at the bottom half of a double bill with Olga's Dance Hall Girls. That was the top half of the bill, and that was the premiere. Olga's Dance Hall Girls had more legs because it was Olga, regardless if it was Audrey Campbell. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's so much more interesting than the actual movie. So, like, Fluctuations, the history of that distribution, and then it was also, I kept finding ad mats for, like, Fluctuation without the S, and I was like, well, what was inappropriate about the Fluctuate? What was inappropriate about the plural of fluctuation? Why does it not have the S?
Yeah,
it's very strange. Yeah, but then you found ad mats for in Wild Blood, right?
Yeah, because when it showed at the Cameo, standard 2 weeks. Most Sanborn stuff normally premiered at the Cameo or the Tivoli. Standard 2 weeks, which is Shelley Wilson's normal thing. It was shown because NY Daily News is one of those papers that was a lot pickier than, say, Village Voice or something. So we try to look for these films in a paper like NY Daily News, which always censored it. The ads for this was In Wild Blood. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a nightmare if you're trying to look for the title. So what I say to also researchers is try and look for the tagline. Anything goes in the world of models and things like that, or something like that, because these were always being censored.
Because this was a world of exotic. I'm sure if you look for world of exotic models, you'd probably find it.
Yeah, exotic models. You could probably come up with like a couple things like that. But standard 2 weeks. Shelley Wilson apparently only paid $1,500 flat rental for those 2 weeks normally. That's about it.
All right, Joel. Well, we will stay tuned to see who gets back to you, if anybody, Casey.
I know. I'm hoping for some more
get some sleep
developments in the Joel story. I know. It really is bothering me just because
the wording,
like I mentioned, even the family of it all, like even the fact that it's not mentioned in like his surviving family's obituaries, it's just like, wow, he really was just erased completely.
But it also says a lot that his brother cared enough to keep on hanging on to that negative.
Exactly.
Because what you're going to do with a negative, you can't even watch it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And all that shit was one lot of all of Joel's stuff just in one collection. And I want to know who bought it because I want to know who I need to harass to get it. Because it has to be somebody who knew what it was.
Did you find that auction listing that you were looking for?
No, I emailed them and asked for it because it's offline. So I emailed them, and if they don't get back with me, I'm going to call them and be like, I need to know this info, please.
Yeah, because come on, this man does not need this negative. What's he doing? But come on, like... It wasn't even on one of the regular auction sites that like sells paper and stuff.
No, it was
like that's a pretty random auction site.
Yeah, it was Duncan's auction in Central Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Films never seem to show up over there, huh?
No.
All right, we'll stay tuned on that. Yep, maybe the saga of Joel is not over yet. We will see.
Hope not.
Thanks for coming on with us, Alex, helping us out with Stan Borden and talking through 2 exciting films.
Anytime, gentlemen, anytime. I can't wait to forget about these.
Excuse me.
Did you repeat that?
Excuse me.
Oh, well-refined lady. Very well brought up, and quite proper.
Quite proper about what?
Who I spoke.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.